Yeah, dude, watch out for that super devil.
Devil lives in a rundown laundry detergent factory where he just eats candy canes out of a box that he has.
Hello, friends, and welcome back to ReddX, your source for the freshest daily Reddit content anywhere on the internet. Promise, swearsies, it's just a fact, and it's totally science. Go ahead and look it up. Today we are back into that BURGERBEARD saga in r/TalesofNeckbeards from user Zuka101. My goodness, he's written yet another parody song. I probably should have thrown this thing into the read time estimator. Estimated read time is like 25 minutes, which with all the little tangents and side comments that I make, it's probably going to push 40 minutes for this episode. So I probably should have looked at it before I jumped right into the Skeletor miniseries, but I think that part 3 is all that I'm going to be able to fit into this episode. Parts 4 and 5 coming along shortly, I presume. And Zuka101 just doing so good keeping these parody songs coming. I'm probably going to branch off and like make that just another thing. I've got some ideas. I've got some things in the works. So I hope that you guys are looking forward to it as much as I am. So without any further delay, let's go ahead and jump right into this Neckbeard cringe. BURGERBEARD's Misadventures in the Game Group, Part 3, The Frustrating FANIME Fiascos. Hooray, hooray, hooray! Come one, come all! Feast thine eyes upon this abomination against nature and decency alike. Step right up, step right this way! You, sir! You look like you haven't got enough excitement in your life. You, madam! Could you use a touch of amazement and revulsion? Well, come on in. Permit me for a moment to tip my non-existent hat. What, cover up this glorious golden mane with man-made material? Forsooth, good sir, or madam. A tip to ReddX for covering not only the first 2 tales in this chronicle, but also belting out a Broadway-worthy delivery of his tale's first season intro song. Legit, man, that rocked. Thank you so much, Zuka. You definitely doth butter me up, good sir. I think it was passable. I don't know if it was like Broadway level, but I have to thank you for writing it, or else I wouldn't have an excuse to sing on the channel. So I'm definitely appreciating you keeping these coming, and there is one in this episode, so I guess I have to brace myself for that. And hearing descriptions of the song of BURGERBEARD's people realized in full, onomatopoeic glory was a feast for the senses. Also, big love to Hellfreezer and Fun with Failure. You guys are my own personal Triforce. Am I using that right? I never actually played Zelda. I was Breath of Fire kid. Boy, you're missing out. Go buy Breath of the Wild right now. Breath of Wild is your homework for the next 3 months. The game takes forever to complete, at least the way I play it. I do want you guys to be fairly warned that there is a bit of steamy content near the end of Tale 2, so if that's not your cup of joe, then consider thyself alerted. Maybe twice now. Now this tale does have 2 parts. The second one somehow is even more shameful than the first. That's right, 2 stories in one! Wow! That's value for money. Warm up them pipes, ReddX. You ask for a new parody song each week, and cracks knuckles. Your wish is my command. The tune is Folsom Prison by Johnny Cash. Oh, I'm probably not going to have backing vocals again. And my voice doesn't go super low, so I guess we'll see how it goes. Hello, I'm ReddX. Bow, 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 bow. I hear the burger coming. He's sitting at my game. And that poor chair he sat in can barely hold his frame. I'm stuck gaming with this fool, and time keeps dragging on. But that BURGERBEARD keeps coming, 'cause he thinks he's won. This is so bad. When Burger was a baby, his mama told him, hun, try to be a good boy and only game for fun, but he shot 9 tails in darkness just to watch her cry. Check out the last episode if you want to hear more about that. When I hear that burger cackle, I hang my head and sigh. I bet his father's somewhere in a big expensive car. He's probably banging cheaply and laughing from afar. We all knew he had it coming. We knew we must be free. But that burger keeps on coming, and that's what tortures me. But we all love it so much. We appreciate your torture. Well, if we got freed of his presence, if that burger dumped us all, we'd laugh like we were crazy, and we'd party till we fall. Far from BURGERBEARD, man, that's where we'd want to stay. We'd let his final bellow blow all our woes away. Bow, 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 bow. Chicka-chack-chow. That's one take. I hope it's good enough. I was surprised how low my voice got, actually. I didn't know I could do that unless I'm impersonating Johnny Cash. And now we're in the meat. We've got our dramatis personae. BURGERBEARD, owner of his own car. No, wait. Possessor of a vehicle in his ownership? No, hold on. It's not right either. Ah, yes, I got it. He is occasionally allowed to drive his mother's car. What a treat. And after the first tale, he's not allowed to ride in anyone's. But fear not, for he secured passage on a truck, a Ford Ranger older than any one of us. Ah, but this is no mere Ranger. This truck belongs to none other than Turtle, the international man of action, in his mid-20s. Zuka, OP, Master of Ceremonies, and the guy who drove the other car in the first tale and rode in Dragon's cavernous minivan for the second, in my early 20s. Badastovich, the lanky ladies' man with more rage than his body knew what to do with, drove in the first tale, rode in the second, undisputed hero of both trips, mid-20s. Dragon is the nicest man in the universe, Japanese-descended gamer nerd, works at a home improvement store and has 2 sons with 9 tails. Rode in the first tale, drove in the second. He is in his early 30s. 9 tails, so named because of her kitsune fixation, is Dragon's wife. Rode both times, and on the second trip, pulled off an effective cosplay from a manga whose name is forgotten to the mists of time, a decade Dragon's junior, but they were drawn together by common interests. Slumsy, former best buddy, rider for both trips, became blackout drunk on the second trip, and convinced that not just the devil, but the super devil was gonna try and kill him. Yeah, dude, watch out for that super devil. He's in his early 30s. Turtle, the international man of action, not present for the first trip, driver in the second trip, and BURGERBEARD's co-conspirator in the climax of this tale. He's in his late 20s. Jitters came on the first trip, but didn't come for the second one. He spotted BURGERBEARD a whole Benjamin in what we would later learn is typical form. Burger used Jitters as his own personal ATM, bartering friendship for the trouble. He's like Tommy Wiseau. Nobody knows his actual age. What a story, Zuka. Rambo, our host for all of 20 minutes in Anaheim, before BURGERBEARD caused him to kick us all out in a display of pure, undiluted rage and hatred that would overshadow any display that even Badastovich could perform. Tiger Girl, so named for the character from the hidden gem of a game she cosplayed, who happened to be my first video game crush. She was there during our second ill-fated voyage, and was a paragon of virtue throughout an otherwise horrific experience, early 20s. Ranger, that's Turtle's truck, a vehicle with mileage suggesting that it had been to the moon and back. A theory which was supported by the amount of dust coating every crevice and the amount of stored bottles of human urine. Oh no. Which were tucked safely away in some crash netting. Fortunately, nothing like that was in the bed of the truck, over which sat a shell, that didn't match the faded blue of the truck. Thus did Ranger fill the role of cargo craft for the second journey. The Weebmobile, Dragon's minivan, dubbed thusly and proudly by Ninetales, and filling the role of personnel transport, though unable to accommodate the luggage of the passengers at the time. Godspeed, my red Isuzu Trooper, newer model, a vehicle that I loved with all my heart, and it was my first car. Easily capable of carrying a plethora of pals and conveying a multitude of personal effects. Not present for the second trip because tires are expensive, and that monolithic monstrosity known as college wanted my money more. Don't worry, Zuka, that history degree's gonna pay off soon. No shade, it's just a joke. Come on, bro, it's just a joke. The stage, the big city where FANIME was held, and the enormous convention center that housed it. Immediately adjacent to the center is the nicest hotel I've ever been in, even while sharing the same cubic mile as BURGERBEARD and Turtle, and a parking garage. We attended the hotel on the second trip, since the first trip the year before was only for the day after circumstances that I shall soon elucidate. So, the troupe is ready, and the stage is set for Tale Tribus, Trebor. I don't know. It's called The Frustrating FANIME Fiascos. Star Fox 64 stage start chime.
Good luck.
Yes, good luck indeed. Thank you, General Pepper. Our first foray to fantastical FANIME frolics went off mostly without a hitch. We arrived in Anaheim, and we were planning on saving our scant financial resources by staying with Badass Davich's friend Rambo. To this end, Godspeed had been stuffed to the gills with sleeping bags and or cots. Upon pulling up to Rambo's house, the man emerges, and, pause for footnote, your OP, Zuka, is built like that powerlifter dude from Game of Thrones. 6 feet tall, plus 1 inch when wearing shoes, plus 2 when wearing work boots, huge barrel chest, big gut, at the time at least. I've gone down many sizes since. Congratulations, I'm working on that myself. Gigantic square-shaped head, strong enough to perform most two-man lift jobs, short and stout Viking legs, thick blonde hair, and a reddish beard that I keep trimmed, cheeks and neck shaven daily. I like how you pointed that out, lest you be confused for one of them, the others. I may as well have done motion capture for Stoic from How to Train Your Dragon. So when I say that Rambo could have done me like Bane did Batman, I need you to understand the immensity of this man's physique. This Adonis looked like what Turtle described his character to look like in the previous tale, only he looked healthy, and to the best of my recognizance, did not possess a couple of bowling balls and a matching bowling pin in his pants. But where you looking, though? He welcomes us into his home, which is outfitted like a geek mecca. Battlestar Galactica memorabilia, Lego sets of bygone eras, gaming consoles neatly arranged on racks, a gun room in the back with an arsenal of weaponry, bookshelves holding at once beautiful pewter miniature figurines for use in tabletop, and every major and obscure tabletop gaming book and supplemental compendiums known to mankind. Boy, Geek Mecca is right. Hung from the ceiling were painstakingly detailed starship models where the USS Enterprise, all of them, flew in perfect harmony alongside X-Wings, Y-Wings, Star Destroyers, and Mon Calamari cruisers. We met his wife, a basket of sunshine, who matched her bronze-skinned gamer geek for sheer nerdiness. Couple goals. I had met and gazed upon the god of nerds. And he was a kindly god. And yet, we were destined to be shamefully banished from Mount Olympus, sent to tumble down the rocks, cast into crippling mortal flesh once again. BURGERBEARD, eager to impress Rambo with his encyclopedic knowledge of all things, asked to see the gun room. Oh god. I wanted to see the Warhammer 40k collection he had amassed, but I held my tongue. Yet, sensing my eagerness, Rambo smiled cordially and showed me to a table where Imperial Guard, Cadians to be precise, lovingly painted in detail, strode alongside a Baneblade tank the size of a cinder block. I got the impression that visitors to his home often reacted as we did. Yet he seemed happy to allow us to shuffle about in wide-eyed wonder. He stepped into the gun room, and I hear BURGERBEARD talking, but can't make out the words. I head outside to start bringing in cots and sleeping bags so we don't have to unload them after the day's fun, when we're tired from trudging across every square inch of the convention center. On the third trip in, BURGERBEARD shuffles past me, a look of mortal terror on his face, the likes of which I had not seen since I rescued my 4-H rabbits from a marauding dog, but that's a tale for another time, I guess. What's wrong? I barely managed to get out as Rambo stormed out, carrying the luggage and setting it down gently on the sidewalk in front of my SUV, before turning his now withering gaze up to BURGERBEARD.
Do not say another word! I will make sure not a single authority finds even one of your bits and pieces if you say one more fucking thing to me!
Rambo bellowed, in such a way as to shake the very firmament beneath our feet. No, really. Mad, big mad. BURGERBEARD gave a sheepish shrug, smiling.
Come on, man. You just wrong. I know I'm right about that gun.
Rambo looks like he's strongly considering the implications of murdering this man in broad daylight in front of numerous witnesses. No court in the land would convict you. Badastovich comes out, cradling the shattered remains of a Corellian Corvette model, the first ship we see in A New Hope, and a look of absolute shame on his face.
Dude, I'm so sorry. I had no idea that he'd...
Rambo lifted a hand to silence Badastovich.
Not your fault, but I can't host you guys. Not after that.
BURGERBEARD scowled.
Where are we supposed to sleep then?
Rambo turned to him and took one step in his direction. BURGERBEARD unleashed a shrill cry of horror and flumped into my vehicle. Rest in peace, suspension. Dragon, trying ever to be the too good for this earth good guy that he is, offered to pay for the damage to the model.
Yo, it's the least we can do after that.
Rambo shook his head.
Forget the model. That was an accident. I can fix it myself. But I've never been disrespected in my own home like that little shit did. I can't do it, man. I can't let you guys camp here,
he said, clearly more broken up about the model than he was letting on, but damn, did this man have honor. Well, it's all right, bud. We'll just make this a day trip then, I said. You sure we can't help you in any way?
You could start by explaining how that,
he pointed at the cowering BURGERBEARD,
is associated with decent people like you guys.
The god of geeks, even in our moment of deepest shame, had warmed our souls with his radiant beneficence once again. Alas, none of us had an explanation. Friend of a friend, you know? Rambo sighed.
Just get him away from here, and don't ever bring him back.
And so, just like that, we were cast out of Olympus. On the way to the convention center, it's a silent, awkward ride, as everyone is staring daggers at BURGERBEARD.
Okay, bro, what the fuck did you do in there?
Slumsy snarled, slapping BURGERBEARD upside his ponytail-bedecked head.
Ow! What's the big deal? I corrected him about his gun collection,
BURGERBEARD protested, flailing his arms like an irritated orangutan. What did you do to his model? Ninetails asked, frowning in disbelief.
Come on, man. There's no space in that little gun room, so I just stepped out to test his sword,
BURGERBEARD complained. There's dead silence. Badastovich turns his head like an owl as he's sitting in the passenger seat, staring at BURGERBEARD with his teeth bared, his eyes wide, and one eyebrow arched so high that it nearly reached his hairline.
What? The precise fuck?
He screams after a few moments.
You swung around his authentic katana like a fucking spaz in the model room?
BURGERBEARD obliviously shrugged.
Well, he didn't say that I couldn't.
Yeah. Common sense is just out the window, I guess. Then his doughy face arches into that trademarked smug grin of his, as if
he'd cracked a code and was on the moral high ground here.
Hold up, but What did you say to him? I asked, remembering through the haze of adrenaline that he was more angered by BURGERBEARD's words than his actions. BURGERBEARD launches into a tirade.
Well, see, he didn't know that his Saiga 12 was actually made in England.
Bad Astovich unbuckles his seatbelt and spins around, resting his knees on the seat while trying to grab some part of BURGERBEARD to destroy. While Dragon played the peacekeeper, I unleashed my own roar. Settle down, everyone, or I'm turning this bus around! Then it's Jitters' turn to speak up. BURGERBEARD, the Saiga's made in Russia. Doesn't the manufacturer's name Kalashnikov suggest that? And I heard you and him talking. You said he was dumb and wrong, and that if he couldn't keep track of his weapons, then you'd be willing to take them off his hands.
God damn it, BURGERBEARD!
Bad Astovich bellowed.
That's my best buddy down here! You couldn't sideline your shit for 10 fucking minutes?
BURGERBEARD does that little shrug he does when he believes he's in the right but doesn't want to argue anymore. And by that time we had pulled into the parking structure. The convention is actually really fun, and a welcome respite from the nightmarish tomfoolery of yesterhour. We actively avoid BURGERBEARD until we see him groping a Warcraft Night Elf cosplayer, Jesus Christ, and drag him by his goatee for the rest of the day to make sure that he does no further harm. Just report him to security, dude. Don't associate with that. Jesus. The ride back is perfectly fine, each of us laden with bags full of swag and purchases. I bought a Vash the Stampede figurine from Trigun, along with a Nicholas D. Wolfwood, also from Trigun, for my same age as me nephew by marriage pal, and an Alexander Anderson from Helsing for Mongoose. We arrived back home in the wee hours since it was a long drive back from the big city. It's time for everyone to hand over the gas money for the trip, everyone throwing in $40. BURGERBEARD did not.
Sorry, I spent it all at FANIME,
he said, smiling, perfectly pleased with himself. God, punch him. Please, somebody punch this man. You know how in anime, there's a little starburst symbol to indicate a blood vessel that's bulging on the head? Bad Astovich's forehead was thusly bulged. I had never seen that in person, at least not on anyone that wasn't my mother or father, dealing with the torment that my brothers and I put them through in their quest to turn their literally barn-raised litter into respectable human beings.
We all paid up, BURGERBEARD. Stop being a shithead and cough it up!
Bad Astovich growls.
Come on, dude, hand over the money.
Slumsy urges him.
Hey, I don't have any money left, so there's nothing for it. Leave me alone,
BURGERBEARD said, in that oh-so-lovely condescending manner. Seriously, bud? You gonna do me dirty like that? Do all of us dirty after you screwed us back at Rambo's place? I didn't want to do 2 4-hour drives in the same day, but I did it anyways, I grumbled, too tired to fight as much as I wanted to. BURGERBEARD hoists his arm under my face, the underside upturned, as he slapped the vein, hollering,
Do you want my blood, man? Do you want my blood?
I mean, let me think about it. Yes, drain your life force. Finally, you will have served a purpose, even if that purpose is just painting the fucking sidewalk. Now I'm getting like offended on OP's behalf. What a bag of shit. Oh, God. Bad Astovich's enraged face turns into a Grinch-like smile of malicious delight as he opened the back of the SUV and scooped up BURGERBEARD's swag along with his own, tying both the bags shut.
Hey, that's my stuff,
BURGERBEARD lowed.
It sure is, and I'd be happy to relinquish it all as soon as you render unto Zaka the fee of 40 buckaroonies.
Bad Astovich sweetly murmurs. Whale song in 3, 2, 1.
Hey now, I promise I'll take good care of it. And then again, you know how klepto my family is.
Badassovich chortled. BURGERBEARD suddenly
Remembers.
that he has a 50 in his wallet. Oh my god. It's a miracle. What a bag of shit, dude. I hate him so much. I take poor Ulysses S. Grant from him, the president looking piteously up at me through the sheen of moisture clinging to the matted fibers of the green legal tender. I gave him a 10 and change, and Badassovich hands him the goods while Alexander Hamilton stares at me from BURGERBEARD's hands with an expression of betrayal and horror. The level of writing. It's just so good. I want Zuka and Ramtide to battle. It's just like two of the best authors around. You'd think that would be enough to keep us from inviting him ever again, yeah? Infinite mercy and infinite stupidity apparently go hand in hand with us. So, next year, we're going to FANIME again. And by then, we'd mostly forgotten the horrors of last time. Mostly. To that end, rather than impose upon friends in the area, we had saved up enough for a couple of rooms. Bring some sleeping bags and cots. It'll be a grand old time. Of course, this time, not one soul among us wants to convey BURGERBEARD. That is, except for... Is that the Lassie theme? Turtle! Turtle! Come here, Turtle! The international man of action stepped forth for the honor, nay, the privilege of driving His Majesty BURGERBEARD. Since Dragon's minivan could fit all the people and very little luggage, we designated Turtle's truck as the baggage wagon and paid him $10 each for the consideration. Unlike last time, the journey there was pretty relaxed. Dragon made a minor traffic mistake and joked that his Japanese heritage was disgusted at this round thing in front of him, gesturing at the steering wheel. Give me a joystick and I'll make this bucket dance. You need to play some Initial D, bro. Grandpa's rolling over in his grave like, my grandson no play Initial D. Great dishonor. For the record, he actually did this one day. And also for the record, yeah, he did make it dance. And it was glorious. Anyways, we arrive, check into the hotel, and drop off our things in our 2 rooms. We knew it would be cramped. We knew it would be inhospitable. We knew 5 people in a 2-person hotel room, however nice that hotel was, would be a little uncomfortable. But not a single one of us dared share the same innate vulnerability of a sleeping space with BURGERBEARD and Turtle. The following day, the convention began in earnest, and over the weekend we had quite a time indeed. We even had a room party where we watched the entirety of Cowboy Bebop over Friday and Saturday nights, compliments of my laptop, and bootleg CDs containing video files of every episode. Well, that sounds pretty cozy, but you know you better watch out for the FBI kicking down your door. I had a pretty simple cosplay going myself. I dressed as Fatty River from the aforementioned Cowboy Bebop, a friend of Jet Black's that we see in the episode Sympathy for the Devil. I badly wanted to go as Jet, but I basically looked like Fatty River by default anyways. Google the guy. That is anime me. This is Anime Zuka 101, okay? For all of Turtle's foulness, he did act as something of a conscience to BURGERBEARD, keeping him from getting too handsy and grabby with all the beautiful cosplayers who roam the center. Cosplay is not consent, BURGERBEARD, scumbag. Of course, that was also the convention that I met a fantastic cosplayer of my first video game crush. She's half tiger, battles with a staff, and stars in a hidden gem of a JRPG that's often overshadowed by better-known works. By the way, if you know her and guess correctly, you win a link to one of the last-known ROMs of the retranslated game to which the character belongs. DM me your answer, though. Don't guess in the comments. I probably also shouldn't guess in the video, but it's Ty the Tiger, isn't it? I remember playing that on GameCube. It's probably not it. That's a male tiger, and it's also a platformer, not a JRPG. But boy, we had some good times on the GameCube, back before we knew what actual platforming was supposed to feel like. She and I talked for a good while, mostly about the game and the incredible attention to detail that she gave her costume, and we swapped stories. We genuinely hit it off, and I invited her to watch Cowboy Bebop with us in the room party. Oh no. But Zuka, you gigantic yet ruggedly handsome wordsmith, I can hear you saying. You brought a talented female cosplayer into the presence of a neckbeard? Nay, two neckbeards. Well, fear not, dear reader, for BURGERBEARD and Turtle had organized their own room party, capitalizing on the larger amount of space that they had to watch Legend of Lemnir and Night City. Please, for the love of God and all that is decent and holy, do not Google those at work. Seek out the sage named Bennett, and he shall illuminate you through a filter of good humor. Lucky for me, I'm never curious about what neckbeards are watching. That's just a good sign to stay far, far away. So we watched our thing, Turtle and Burger watched theirs, and all was well and right with the world. I eventually asked Tiger Girl to marry me. BURGERBEARD reformed, and Turtle opened an orphanage. I'm sorry, guys, but I needed to pretend that this tale in particular had a saccharine ending like that. We get to the episode Ganymede Elegy. Tiger Girl bumped her hip into mine during Sympathy for the Devil and pointed at Fatty River. Looks just like you, she chirped. Be still, my aching heart. I replied that my costume was simple. Seriously, just like a sleeveless coverall, some little round glasses, and a bunch of belts and buckles. Hers took real effort, and I told her as much. Tiger blushed. I blushed.
No snooze you!
Slumsy barked, tossing a wadded up ball of Taco Bell wrappers at our heads. Thanks for ruining the moment. Dodged a bullet there. Almost went to horny jail. Thanks, Slumsy. Almost went to horny jail with Tiger. Curse you, Slumsy. What a roller coaster of emotion. Anyway, we don't get much further into the episode before we hear a sudden crash next door. BURGERBEARD and Turtle's room. Nobody gets up. I hope they're dead. I mean, what is our duty of care in this situation? Ninetails face palms, pausing the show. We can't get our luggage and swag back alone, she reminds us. Curses. Foiled again. Ah, come on, OP. Just take the keys from the pockets of Turtle's corpse and get somebody who knows how to drive the Ranger. No problem. I stood up and went to the dividing door, knocking on it. Tiger crept up behind me, holding her staff, which I later learned was, to my astonishment, sturdy enough to use as a practical weapon when another neckbeard entirely attempted to pull her tail. 40 whacks, he ain't gonna try that shit again. Guys, you all right in there? I asked through the door. I was answered by the sound of glass shattering and a body hitting the floor with a thunderous thud. Wow. They're killing each other! I opened the dividing door and beheld quite a chaotic sight indeed. BURGERBEARD was slumped against the wall, blood pouring down his face, his pants around his ankles, and let's just say that though BURGERBEARD was collapsed, he was still standing at full attention. Oh no, nobody wants to see that. Turtle was nowhere to be found, but in the middle of the room, murmuring in a drunken haze, was a 19-year-old boy who, were it not for his 90% state of undress, would otherwise be dressed as Bridget from Guilty Gear. For context, Bridget is a boy in the game too, but dresses like a girl. Extremely feminine, smooth legs, short shorts, etc. Turns out Turtle, in a characteristically responsible manner, had gone to fill up his truck with gas so that he wouldn't have to do so during rush hour when we left the following morning, leaving BURGERBEARD alone, bereft of his own personal trapezoid-headed Jiminy Cricket. So BURGERBEARD started thinking. Now, I'm not a forensic scientist, but come on. It doesn't take the CSI to realize what happened here. Best case scenario, they were about to have some perfectly consensual sex, but both were so drunk that when action time came, they just kind of collapsed. Worst case scenario, they were about to do the deed when, to quote Ace Ventura, he found Captain Winky. and subsequent freakouts and passouts occurred. Turns out it was actually neither of those things. BURGERBEARD would never speak of the event, and Turtle ducked in his head when inquired after to this day, but Bridget admitted that he thought BURGERBEARD was cute. Oh, you sweet bubble-butted summer child. And snuggling turned to cuddling, turned to hanky-panky, while they were drinking like fish and watching hentai. Seems Bridget is well versed in the art, because one old-fashioned later and BURGERBEARD slumped to the ground, knocking over his Jack Daniels, breaking the bottle, and somehow attaining a head injury. A worse one than he obviously had before, at least. Bridget stood up too fast and fainted, mostly naked, in a heap at BURGERBEARD's feet. Tiger helps Bridget up and gets him sipping some water while I put a cold washcloth on Burger's head. Bridget, the little sweetheart, left his number in BURGERBEARD's pants, on a note, sealed with a kiss, after attaining his wits, and went sauntering out with a shake of the hips that would make the straightest among us at least bend for a moment. For the record, I'm bi, and if I wasn't already enamored with Tiger, I can't promise that I wouldn't have stared. BURGERBEARD opened his eyes after a while and looked around.
Where'd she go?
He wanted to know. Well, you two apparently had a real wild time. Bridget even left a number in your pocket there, so, score? I supplied, choosing my words very carefully. Jerk though he was, it didn't seem right to dunk on him. After all, maybe he'd find out something about himself that he didn't know before. Or maybe he knew the whole time, and you're finding out something about him that you didn't know before. Like I said, no king shame, but no king same. I probably wouldn't be into it, but, you know, if you're into it, then whatever, go for it. Balls deep. Literally and figuratively. Frankly, finding someone that he could connect with on that level might have done him some good. Bridget did seem genuinely sweet and interested in BURGERBEARD after all. But I digress. I didn't know for a long time what ultimately came of it, and didn't see that he-vixen. For some time indeed. Tiger and I go to decompress at the bar, ordering soft drinks and just chatting after making sure BURGERBEARD wasn't concussed. Turns out we didn't live too far away from each other, and actually dated for a few years before her family moved to Colorado. Godspeed, little Tiger. You were a stripy angel of mercy. The following day, the entire hotel is just choked, with weebs flooding the hallway to enact their departure and return from whence they came. Myself, Slumsy, Dragon, Ninetails, Badastovich, BURGERBEARD, and Turtle all stood before the elevator doors, which had not opened.
Fuck this!
Slumsy grunted, and started carrying his armload of luggage and swag down through the stairwell. We're on the 8th floor, mind you. Go Slumsy! We all follow suit, except for Turtle and BURGERBEARD, who just insist on waiting. We carry a load down to the Weebmobile, loading its meager cargo space up. As we climb the stairs, Badastovich grins impishly and says,
Wouldn't it be hilarious if they were still standing in front of the elevator?
Wouldn't it be? Well, slap those glasses off your face, turn that goatee white, and call yourself Nostradamus, Badastovich, because that is precisely what we beheld upon exiting the stairwell. They had been standing there for the past 20 minutes. 20 go-ram minutes. It was just too much. We burst into laughter, commenting on the humor of the situation. Turtle chuckled until he noticed the steam jetting out from BURGERBEARD's ears, his head getting bigger and bigger and redder and redder. And this was a sign that we should have well heeded, dear reader. We grab up the rest of our luggage, which is destined for Turtle's Ranger, and head into the hall. BURGERBEARD and Turtle are gone. Well, I guess they lucked out with the elevator, I supposed aloud. However, as soon as we get to the parking structure, Dragon rushes us, eyes wide and frantic.
They're gonna leave us!
Dragon blurts out.
Who?
Slumsy exclaims with likewise brevity.
BURGERBEARD and Turtle! They're driving out of here!
Dragon cried out. There was no way on God's green earth that we'd be able to fit both we the passengers and our luggage and swag into the Weebmobile. Not even if we piled up in laps and all. Bad Astovich looks around frantically before seeing the ranger pull around the roundabout and onto the ramp leading down to where we were. And then, in a moment of indisputable badassery, the aptly named Bad Astovich leaps onto the hood of the ranger, torso and arms splayed across the windshield, roaring out, "Stop this motherfucking truck!" Turtle slams on the brakes, but Bad Astovich is clinging onto the hood like a Comanche warrior holding fast to a wild stallion. He starts slamming his fists on the windshield. "Turn it off!" he snarled. He leaps off after hearing the engine cut and yanks open the door, staring daggers at Turtle. "What the fuck is wrong with you?" "Bad Astovich, you are my hero."
What's wrong with you?
The ever-crafty BURGERBEARD, razor wit that he is, shot back. Turtle, in typical nonchalance, calmly wheezes,
You made fun of us upstairs. We don't have to put up with that.
Skeletor, is that you? Considering the fact that this is a group with notoriously thick skin, hurling playful insults and the like, the fact that they'd respond like this to a chuckle at their situation at the elevator kinda came out of left field. Perhaps BURGERBEARD's skin had been thinned after the previous night's adventures in sexual discovery. And his threshold for wounded pride had just reached its peak. But he told Turtle to just drive off and leave the rest of us up shit creek bereft of paddles. I once again had to play referee and stepped up. Okay guys, let's just all cool down. We didn't mean to hurt your feelings, dude. I did, Bad Astovich chimes in. I continue, unsuccessfully attempting to suppress a chuckle at that. But you were about to completely screw us. We can't carry everyone and the gear at the same time.
You guys were being really mean. That was a mean thing to do.
BURGERBEARD whined, stomping his foot while crocodile tears misted his eyes.
Yeah, that was mean.
Turtle stiffly murmured. Hey, like Zuka said, we didn't mean to make you feel bad, but this is like a little much, Dragon piped up.
You're being a fucking child, BURGERBEARD,
Slumsy growled. BURGERBEARD slammed the door and yelled out,
We're leaving!
Turtle, however, had to our vast surprise reached his limit.
Come on, man. We promised we'd haul their stuff.
BURGERBEARD gave him the old, Et tu, Brute? Look. And was about to whine when Bad Astovich strolled up to his door, which had the window down, and leaned in.
If you take off and leave us like this, I swear to Christ, I will give Rambo your home address,
he said with unnerving calm. That got BURGERBEARD's attention.
Fine, stow your shit, but we're not stopping at Dragon and Ninetail's place. You're gonna come pick it up at Turtle's house,
BURGERBEARD snipped. Sounds fair, I jutted in before this got any uglier. The drive back was, once again thanks to BURGERBEARD, uncomfortable and awkward. Turtle would later tell us, long after these events, that BURGERBEARD tried to talk him into dumping it off at the side of the 101. God. Turtle, to his eternal credit, talked BURGERBEARD out of that idea. So we finally decided never to invite him to FANIME, and never did he darken our future visits. But because we're stupid, we kept inviting him to the game. The journey continues. So that's the end of this long-winded episode. I'm grateful that y'all came along for the ride, and there shall be more next week. Stay tuned for the next disgraceful tale in this ongoing saga. A little ditty that I like to call The Ballad of Loiza, the worst kobold in the entire universe. Oh, left and right, this guy just proves to be a bag of trash, and for some reason, just infinite patience, infinite forgiveness. I got no time for it, I'll be completely honest. When it comes to me, my time, my patience, you got one strike. And that is it. I will put you out on the street in no time flat, and not even think twice about it. I'm super glad that OP got some play at the con, you know what I mean? Even BURGERBEARD was getting some play at the con. Man, maybe I should be going to conventions more. Maybe I missed out on something. Dang. BURGERBEARD definitely got more chances than he deserved and more attention at that convention than he deserved. Like, what's up with Bridget? You're really attracted to that? Come on, dude. You could do better. You could do so much better. My heart cries out to you. Don't do this to yourself. I'm super glad that BURGERBEARD finally did stop getting invited to this thing, because what an embarrassing situation for that guy to be in your party. Yeah, you see that guy that's trying to feel up that girl that's playing a night elf? He's with us. Fuck no, dude. Anonymous report to security, leave without him, and then just be like, oh, we didn't realize you weren't there, dude. He was gonna do the same thing to you. It's just fair dues at that point. And then saying that he didn't have 40 bucks for gas in the first story, and then he ends up pulling out a 50. 1, I wouldn't have given him change. 2, I would have taken his blood. I would have punched him right in the fucking nose over that, dude. It's a small amount of money, you know, I don't actually give a shit, but it's the principle, isn't it? What is wrong with you? How do you think you could just treat other people that way? I hope at the end of this saga, he just has like some massive comeuppance and is completely destroyed in front of everybody, a la Duster in the Adelaide saga, but I don't know if it'll happen, you know, with all the forgiveness flying around this dude, maybe he gets away scot-free, but I like to think that that's not how it's going to be. But I suppose only time will tell. I will be back again quite soon with another BURGERBEARD entry and a lovely song at the beginning. I do hope that you guys enjoyed that. I know that I had fun with it. If you guys did enjoy the episode, I hope that you'll like, comment, and or subscribe. Maybe share the video around. That's always pretty massive, you know. I've got the Skeletor miniseries and the other BURGERBEARD part linked in the description if you'd like to check those out. Those are probably better to link people to because that's like the beginning, the intro, whatever. Anyways, I also hope you'll check out the links in the description. There's some stuff that wasn't on the splash page, such as my wife's channel, Mr. and Mrs. ReddX, my personal subreddit, ReddX Reads, the Teespring shop if you're trying to rock that merch. Oh, and how could I almost fake forget about my patrons? You're seeing some names on the screen right now. Those are my gorgeous, wonderful, beautiful, generous patrons. And as always, I would like to thank them all, but specifically ZeroMMX, Robert Waits, Pope Squid, Rebecca H, Cider Drinker, Tato Fair, The Last Shinobi, Mark211, Michael Undead, Aaron W, Mitch, John Hero, Josh K, Candy Sora, DigiNZ, Fire Drake, Little Lone Wolf, Lone Island, Shara, Marvy the Moth, Miss Monday, Silent Revolver, and JM Coon. Thank you guys so much for helping to float the channel. It is just huge to me because sometimes stuff gets demonetized. I don't expect this to, but I don't know. There's some talk about hentai and role-playing at the end, so I guess we'll see how sensitive YouTube is going to be today. Fingers crossed, but if I do get demonetized, the patrons are there, so big shout out to all of those dudes. I shout them out every single episode because it matters. It's seriously one of the best things that you can do for the channel. If anybody else can support monetarily, obviously that is absolutely massive, super appreciated. But if you can't right now, don't sweat it too hard, friends. I just appreciate you coming on through, hanging out with me, and I hope that you come on back and hang out with me again tomorrow. And in order to join us again tomorrow, you'll need to keep yourself safe out there, drink some water, wash your hands, and also take some time out to do something that you personally enjoy today. Maybe watching another ReddX video. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Please always remember that you are loved, you are worthy, and you definitely deserve it. I'll see you in the next one, friends. And until then, bye-bye.